What's poppin', players? Welcome back to a Two Penny Games react/review of The Last of Us. This time, episode 7, Left Behind. This episode was directed by Eliza Johnson, and I'm your host, Tavin Bothel, here with my fellow Last of Us lovers. Say hello to the people, Connor Elliott.
Hello, I played both Last of Us games, and
You did?
that's how many I played.
Yeah. And say hello to the people, Phil Shoemaker.
I got you, babe. I got you, babe.
Are you listening to music rather than listening to the words of your co-hosts?
I mean, I wish I was. No, that's the song that was in the episode.
That's the song they play. That's the song.
The song they danced to.
Not to flex on you, gentlemen. I've technically played all 4 Last of Us games.
Yeah, I watched all the cutscenes of the original, and then I'm like 3 hours into the remake.
Not even. Hey, Connor, I saw your confusion because the first game got released 3 times.
Oh, that's stupid technicality.
It's really stupid. It's really stupid. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we are here over at youtube.com/2pennygames reviewing each episode of The Last of Us night by night shortly after they air. We watch the episodes, we come here, we review the episodes, and we throw it up on youtube.com/2pennygames. So thank you so much for watching and listening. Please stick around for the rest of the series because we will be reviewing episodes 8 and 9 when they release. So please subscribe, like, share with a friend, all of that fun stuff. Gentlemen, this was a very important episode that they get right, in my opinion. Because this will give us characterization of Ellie that we won't see again. It just doesn't come back. Not at least in its full form. So to get this episode and this story, I think, was really, really important for this show. And once again, just like every single week, man, they nailed it. It was perfect. In some ways, it was better than the game. In other ways, I did prefer the game. We got to spend more time with the characters in the game, of course. But overall, they hit all of the important parts, and they knocked them out of the park. I thought the performances in this episode were so phenomenal. So good. I cherished every moment Bella Ramsey was on screen, which was damn near every moment. Storm Reed did an excellent job as Riley. And
We've come a long way from Wrinkle in Time.
I never even saw that.
Fun fact, I was in a staged performance of Wrinkle in Time.
Connor was
supposed to come and see that show, and then he got sick on the way there, so he went back home.
Oh, yeah, that was horrible.
Connor, what did you think of this week's episode?
Wow, I thought that this week's episode was mid. I mean, out of all... Okay, I don't even know why I bothered.
ass.
I don't know why I even bothered. I mean, it was good. Based off the adaptation of the Left Behind DLC, this episode, as Tavin said, did have to get a lot of things right because it does characterize Ellie going forward, and it did so well. This is the only time I think we'll ever have in the show where we get more time with them in the games than we did with the show. Because the game, you can kind of like stop and, look at all these different things and kind of take your time going through them all. They even kind of did a reference to that when she's like, hey, we got to go. You got to get to the main story points here. You can't do everything. So they left out some things like the water fight that they had, of course, which was a very gameplay.
They made a little bit of a reference to it where she's like, is it a water gun or whatever? So they tried.
A water pistol?
Yeah, no, and they also, I can't remember in the original, did they give her a second volume of the joke book? Was that there?
I don't think know. It was. I want to say it was. There's definitely a part where they open up the joke book. I just don't remember if it's Riley giving it to her as a gift.
Right.
Yeah, but
I will say, y'all pointing out earlier, this is sorry to go back on and interrupt you guys, but y'all talking about the Dead Space chapters and how they're an acronym for Nicole is that it's got me looking at all the episode titles and this stuff now.
You're not gonna get anything out of it.
I know there's nothing out of this one. Yeah.
So Connor, continue.
Yeah, but even though they did have to cut some things, overall it was done extremely well. They hit the main points of the developing romance between the two characters that was kind of core to Ellie as a person, and to show kind of her kind of understand her character more with how she interacts with Joel, and over the course of the episode, cutting back to the fact that he's dying from what happened in the last episode, which was an interesting way how they did that, because before you were in a mall and then there was fighting and everything like that. This one felt a lot less. They took a lot more pressure off that moment so that we could spend more time in the flashback and not wonder what's going on. So that was a good detail that they definitely should have changed and successfully did so.
I've always said that DLC would be better if it wasn't there.
Yeah, it honestly would be. Overall, I do think the DLC, if we're comparing the two, since this is an adaptation, they're kind of pretty much on par with one another. I would say not one does it better than the other, because this one, those more intimate moments are at the forefront of a shorter experience, whereas the Left Behind DLC did kind of lag a little bit, as you said before, Tavin. But it also did a great job at showing the tragedy of The Last of Us, which is kind of the whole bit of it all. So.
Look, that's the point of the show.
Yeah, it pretty much is. Tavin always says
Just to make you sad.
Tavin always says the stupid thing about how it's a theme of love when it's a theme of depression. And
Oh yeah, it had nothing to do with love this episode. Nothing to do with love.
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing.
nothing else.
I will say I think this episode benefits from us staying in the moment of not having to cut back and forth, like they do in the game. I felt a lot more. I felt more in. Like I feel like it would take, like if I kept going back and forth, it would have taken me more out of the experience and the whole episode.
Yeah, in the game they go back and forth because they can't justify combat during the Riley sections, so they do
because it's a video game.
Yeah, so they cut to Ellie taking care of Joel and taking out clickers and hunters there, and it's
right.
Even in the game, it felt contrived, and it's not an I'm not unique in the idea of like they should have just cut all that and just had a completely combatless DLC story pack that was just interactive storytelling and stuff like that. But Phil, what did you think of the episode as a whole?
I thought it was really good. I really loved the there was a bit. I'm sorry. We'll obviously dive into more grander stuff later. I thought as a whole, when us jumping from immediately from last episode where we're taking care of Joel, then we go into the flashback and her in the Fedra program, seeing her struggles there, kind of her whole thing.
I thought new.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I liked it all. I liked all of that. There was like a different side of Elliott we hadn't seen yet, like her before the spoiler alert for those that don't know how the game ends or how this episode ends, for the death of Riley. And yeah, I loved there was the reunion of our friends, and then immediately, well, obviously not immediately because we had a whole 45-minute episode between the end whenever they were separated once again. I'm a fan of the fact that we didn't see the ending of that.
I really thought they were going to. I thought because they sort of foreshadowed something in an earlier episode about, and then just diving into all the full details and stuff. They foreshadowed in an earlier episode, I think it was like episode 4 or something, of Ellie hurting someone before, and I really thought, and I texted in the group chat, I was like, they're gonna make us watch Ellie kill her.
I remember
that. When Riley's infection takes over, and I'm so glad they didn't go that route, at least not yet, and I hope they don't, because thinking back on it, that storyline is just so precious, and it would really
would have been tainted.
It would have tainted that story a little bit to have that violence and that darkness, be the tail end of that. So I'm really glad that they kept true to the game in that sense, and that they left us with that beautiful line of let's just lose our minds together, and then cut back to Ellie and Joel, which was
it's just that really that overarching theme of that we've already talked about of love, and then the tragedy that comes with that love and living in this kind of world.
Yeah. As far as going about inferring things, one thing I did, because obviously it infers that we can infer that Ellie did in fact have to kill Riley, since she's obviously alive and not getting infected, and Riley definitely is. One other thing that I liked what they did was at the beginning of the episode, when they're already in the garage, you see off to the side, kind of a nod at the game at what happens. a sleeping bag and rope, because in the game Ellie gets Joel to where he needs to go by just laying out a sleeping bag, putting him on it, and then tying ropes to the horse so he would drag her. That's
Where
how
was that?
she. It was in the Left
It was in
Behind.
the opening scene.
Oh, okay.
You just saw it laying off in the corner. So even
Yeah.
though they, once again, they did, when they can't adapt everything, they put nods in where they can. So if you're paying attention, you don't think, because one of the issues with scenes like this that someone may think is, oh, how did she get him into this place with a horse and on her own? And since they can't cover it in this one, we played the game, so we know that's what happened. So you can see some evidence of that.
Just
Which,
some
just
visual
little detail I
storytelling.
liked.
Yeah. A lot of details in this episode. This episode had a lot of references to not just the Last of Us game, but Naughty Dog as a whole.
Yeah.
There was the obviously the werewolf movie poster, Midnight at Dawn or something like that, part 2. That's in the mall, which I enjoyed seeing. On the sort of, I forget what his title was, the commander, the colonel, the dude who's like giving Ellie a talk to after she fights the other student. On his keys is a little like keychain thing of the Naughty Dog logo, which was cute. I was like, oh, that's cute. And then my personal favorite is they go into a Macho Nacho, which is an Uncharted 4 reference that you only know about if you do all the hidden little secret conversations between Nate and Elena in the final chapters of that game. So that, I was like, a Macho Nacho! Like, let's fucking go! Like, a lot of great stuff like that. I'm sure there's something else I missed, but those are the ones I caught.
Sorry, I was groaning at your.
That's a nerdy one, right?
Your fanboy.
You would know that.
That was really
Naughty
nerdy, so, but it was great.
You are Naughty Dog.
The final scene, or not the final scene, but the final moments before the clicker shows up of Ellie and Riley, I honestly think played better here than they did in the game. I just felt the emotion more. I don't know
Them
if it's
dancing. You're talking about?
Yeah, the dancing, and then the don't go, okay, they kiss, all of that, the tear. I think maybe it's just because it's a real person as opposed to like an animated face, and just the tears and the emotion there. I really think Bella Ramsey was showing out in this episode. This, I think, is my favorite performance from her in the entire season. She just... And it was also the one that we're like, she felt the most Ellie to me. She's done a great job all throughout the show, but this episode specifically, she really just knocked it out of the park. I'm very, very happy with what she's been doing in this role, and I can't wait to see how she handles the subject matter of the end of the first game and as we lead into the content of the second game and so forth.
Mm-hmm. I think it was done well.
Shout out to Ashley.
Yeah, Ashley
appearance
off.
First appearance on the podcast. What was I saying?
Yeah, you also thought it was done well.
Yeah.
You were agreeing with me because, of course, you would.
Of course, because Tavin's always the correct opinion.
Always right, man. I'm always right.
Especially with
Breath of the Wild, bad game, right?
Okay, shut up. See, okay, you know what? Never mind. Remember, I put just to put it into perspective, I put Helltaker over The Last of Us Part 2 in my top 10 video games of all time. So I think you should agree with my opinion more than Tavin's.
Tavin's all over the Breath of the Wild hate today. In every single recording session today.
No, only in the piggy bank, but they're not going to know about that for a week. So,
damn, you're right. Just always trying to get your little fix in, huh? Naughty Dog fanboy. You got to represent the company whenever you can. Are you actually a sleeper agent placed by Naughty Dog?
I've been hired by Naughty Dog for 10 years. Like,
It's been a long game then. Pretty impressive, actually.
I was 15 playing The Last of Us for the first time, getting a paycheck. Like,
damn. When they knew you bought the second copy, they're like, this guy, maybe we can rely on.
Because we all know that Naughty Dog places a tracker in every single copy of The Last of Us.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
Well, when I played
Spyware.
When I played the first 7 hours in the first sitting, and then my save got corrupted and had to replay the first 7 hours in a 24-hour time period, they knew I was in.
Mm-hmm. In for a penny.
In for a penny, in for a pound. You know what I'm saying?
That's how you came up with the name of the show.
That's so stupid.
We're building the lore here, guys.
I don't even remember.
It goes deep.
Me and Connor came up with this shit together, but I don't remember how. But back to The Last of Us, gentlemen.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that.
Connor, you were saying something, and then I cut you off with my bullshit. Something about how the performances were great or something.
Yeah, I do like how they kind of put some reasoning into why they were going through the mall, because I don't remember them ever showing that she was posted there by the Fireflies. Was she at the mall?
No,
I
I
don't remember
think
that.
no.
That's
It's
new.
just the hey, I'm just leaving tomorrow type thing. Yeah, that was new. I believe. Yeah, like a little added detail or something. But yeah, I think in the game it's just hey, I found this cool place. Let's go check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this one seemed to have more of a focus on trying to determine the ideologies of Fedra, who Ellie was being with at the time. She was, casting her lot in with them, and Riley with the Fireflies.
The thing is, I don't think it was by choice. I think it was she grew up there.
Yeah, but it's
Was it
still what
not?
she was
It's not
going.
like
Yeah, but that's all she knew. So she was gonna, because she was given the option of being an officer or a grunt, and she doubled down and went the officer route.
I think it's also it's an early idea of a purpose for her, and she's constantly in search for purpose. You know, being an orphan, never knowing anybody, not knowing any family. She wants a place. She, like Riley, wants a place to belong. She just doesn't know it or how that manifests. So when the officer gives her a path, she goes, "Oh, well, maybe I do have a future here or something. Maybe I can do something. I can do some good. Maybe I can improve the quality of the QC for everybody or something." And obviously doesn't happen.
no wait, what?
Yeah, right. I also love I love that they just made it just one infected, one clicker, just in there, not a horde, which was fun from a gameplay perspective because it was sort of a test bed for some of the scenes that we get in the second game. But here, it would feel weird if suddenly 7, 8, 10 clickers just jumped on them. I like that they kept it to just the one.
Though I gotta say, Riley,
Come on,
you
man.
couldn't kill one of them.
Come on,
you
man. She got and when they put it on its knees, that's when I was like, all right, we'll keep shooting. Like you've won. Just keep going. But I get they're scared and they're dumb.
Young girl.
Yeah. So
I mean, she obviously doesn't even. She's not even completely convicted on the path that she's chosen is even right. So to be able to stare down an infected that's just chasing after you, it's kind of scary.
I don't think those two are connected, but okay.
They're not. But she's a 17-year-old girl at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Not exactly an adult. Because one of the lines she keeps dropping that I kept thinking to myself was like, "You don't know everything." And it's like, yeah, that's true. She doesn't know everything, but do you? So
no, but she does have some more perspective than Ellie does. So
she does, yeah.
There's that, and I think there's even a point where she admits it. And she goes, "Maybe they are wrong, but it's something for me to do." So. I also kind of liked. Maybe I just didn't see it, but I feel like they hid the bites really well.
Yeah.
I was kind of confused. I was like, man, I didn't see them get bitten. I don't know, like maybe another one pops out. Like,
no, yeah, it was
kind of my thoughts when I was watching it anyway.
Yeah, and in the game, like you see it happen. Like it's a real quick, just and then we get it out of there. But here, like there's moments where you can infer that it might have happened there. There's where Ellie's got the arm braced against its neck and so forth. And the moment where like it cuts to Ellie's perspective of seeing the infected, jumping Riley or whatever. So it's complicated. Also, really smart move to have her stab the clicker the same way she stabbed the one that was trapped under the basement in the other episode.
It's not.
I don't remember that.
She did it through its eye.
No, it wasn't through the eye. It was just in the top of the head.
I thought it was through its eye.
I thought it was going to be in the eye, but it wasn't. In that scene.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's just in the top of the head. So she just stabbed it. Which I think adds another layer to that moment. So I just think the show is really well crafted, really smartly crafted of like, all right, we're going to introduce these layers that when you come back to on a second watch or when you think back on it, those moments will kind of cue in and make a little more sense to you.
I think
also the way she stabbed it.
But still, I know what you mean.
Huh?
I think that particular instance, a little bit of reach, but I know what's your point. I get your point.
No, I don't think it's a reach because it's just a moment for her to reflect on an infected, and those two infected are about the same level of infection. So, I think she was I definitely think Ellie was thinking about the Left Behind moment when she was poking and prodding that one.
Okay.
And then what I was going to say, the reach that I was going to have is the way that she killed it is like the same way she stabs and kills dudes in the game. But it's a little different every time. So, yeah, there's a lot going on. It's brought up even more with just every little. I just loved the carousel scene. Like that one really, really worked for me. Just the little moments in between where they're taking turns looking at each other and they don't know that they're looking at each other type stuff. Just all this like little kid having a crush on someone stuff
Puppy
really
love.
just played for me and helped out with the innocence of it all.
How many episodes are there going to be again?
9.
2 more.
9. Okay, yeah. So it's pretty easy to see where the how things are going to go from here on out.
Yeah, we deal with David in the group, and then we have the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in here, we're supposed to fit in a flashback where Ashley Johnson gives birth to Ellie. So
probably beginning of the first one, the last episode.
Maybe
I would think
makes sense to me.
Because I think it's going to focus a lot on Marlene for certain reasons.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. I guess there's a lot of, in the hospital level, all of the Salt Lake City bit, there's a lot of gameplay you can cut out.
Yeah.
Am I wrong, or was Marlene friends with her mom?
Yeah. We don't know how, though. We don't know the full length of their relationship.
Yeah, it's not really a conversation that happens until the hospital.
Okay.
I think it might be mentioned in the comic book, which I read once, like, years ago. I think I still have it. I think it's over there somewhere, but yeah.
Is it a prequel or
Yeah, it's a prequel comic.
involving it?
I think it's how Ellie gets her knife.
Oh, okay.
Is what it talks about, I believe. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's about. I don't remember. It's been a long time.
But you're the Last of Us fan, Tavin. You don't remember who will?
Listen, man, American Daughters. Read it a long time ago. I haven't read it since. I remember reading it, being like, that was okay, and then closing it and putting it away. So, yeah. The shocker, the games are much better. Like the ones where all the budget and the money and the draft after draft of writing goes to, those are really good. But the comic book was good too. So definitely room to, I don't know, throw in that piece of information somewhere for some super fan who cares.
Oh, I know that. I read that in the year 2015. I'm assuming that's
right.
what it
Gentlemen, anything else we need to mention as we get to the end here of this episode?
Not really. It was a bad episode. Not much to talk about.
Connor with his fucking jokes. Phil, you've been kind of quiet this episode. You ain't got nothing else to put up?
Sorry, I'm starting to feel a little sick. So.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's a little down. I mentioned it to Connor while you were before the stream, but I'm coming down with something.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. All right. Okay. Well, in that case, we can go ahead and wrap it up there. Every time we do one of these, I always like go and listen to other people's reactions. And then I'm like, oh, fuck, that's right. I wanted to talk about that. I thought about taking notes this time, but I feel like I got everything. All the little Easter eggs and moments. And
I don't know if you want to bring up last episode. We missed the possible Dina tease.
We did, yeah, or we forgot to talk about it at least. Yeah, where it looked like Dina was in the mess hall looking at Ellie and stuff. That's cool. It was either Dina or it's like Kat, which is Ellie's off-screen girlfriend in between games, who we never talk about. But they're
only mentioned in like the beginning of 2, right?
Yeah, they talk about her, and then I think there's like a drawing of her in Ellie's notebook. I think it's like an Asian girl or something.
Dina
but if I were to put money,
I know she wasn't right for you.
Yeah. If I were to put money, that was probably Dina from last episode. So good catch. I did want to double back to that. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that was our thoughts on The Last of Us episode 7. Once again, the show just continues to be fantastic. And I'm so excited for next week. This is like the thing that I'm looking forward to most every week. And so just to keep getting these little bits is so fun.
I think next week is going to be very action heavy.
Oh, it's going to be dark. It's going to be really dark.
It's going to be grim.
Oh, man. Connor, are you ready to admit that it's time to eat your words about all of this shit talking you've been doing over the past couple of years about this show?
What you talking?
Yeah. They're in there. Everybody go listen to every 135 episodes of the podcast and go find every moment. Connor was like, I don't want this show.
I don't quite know exactly what you're talking about.
I feel like those words were squashed from week 1, Tavin. I don't know why you're bringing up old shit.
Oh, he wants to ride it.
I just like to rub it in his little
He does.
his little prim and proper nose.
You little bastard down there. Oh, that's
If there are two adjectives I would give Connor, it's not prim and proper.
no, it's not.
I pretentious was the word I was reaching for, and I couldn't get it. Now I've got it. So
For the
but
record, everyone, I used to wear my main fit was white T-shirt, red basketball shorts. So I don't think I've ever gone.
he's
as
not
good
much
at that.
better now.
That was my best days.
Now he's wearing a red shirt with white basketball shorts.
Black, actually.
Oh,
Oh my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching and listening. Make sure to subscribe and like and follow for more. You can catch us every week, youtube.com/2pennygames. Also, twitch.tv/2pennygames, where we play games live, so go check all of that out. TikTok at 2pennygames. Twitter at the number 2pennygames. youtube.com/@2pennygames. I need to remember that. I need to be better about that. I've just been doing it for too long, you know?
Have we gotten to the point where I'm better at the plugs than you?
No. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, have a great time. And gentlemen, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.